Job Sikhala receives massive support as the Zimbabweans speak out in his defense. Quite interesting how we have seen our people standing up in support of Job Sikhala. It is very, very unfortunate, really, the situation that we saw happening in South Africa, where we have seen a thing that is very common with ZANU-PF, of course, the work of the CIO deciding to plant explosives in Job Sikhala's car, and then thereby tipping the South African police to arrest him. And we saw yesterday, was it yesterday or the other day, Job Sikhala appearing before the courts. I think it was yesterday, and he has been remanded. I heard another report talking about Thursday. I thought it was Wednesday, but there are two conflicting reports. The first one I gave on Monday, it was saying Wednesday, but I heard one again which is saying Thursday. So we don't know which is which, but whichever way it is, Zimbabwean people really have shown massive support for Job Sikhala, and they are rallying behind him. We've heard many people talking about Job Sikhala, and even explaining that this is a man who cannot be, responsible for such things. He's a man of integrity, a man who is not a violent man, and we don't know whether that is going to make any impact on his case. But we continue to pray, like what I've always urged us as intercessors, that let us keep praying for Job, because this is a trying time for him. It's a time that the enemy wants to pull him down. It's a very trying time, painful time. It's a time that is extraordinary. It's not just common, but we know he's a strong person. He's a strong man, very vigilant, very powerful politician, and we really are sympathetic with him and his family, and we need to remember to continue putting them in our prayers. So quite a lot of people have really spoken, and we've seen overwhelming support. But generally, the way things happened in South Africa is typical of how ZANU-PF has always operated. We know these things, and ZANU-PF will never stop, especially when they target an individual. Remember, Farai Marapira gave a warning sometime. We did a show where he mentioned Job Sikhala, he mentioned Tendai Biti, Ibo Mandaza, and so on, and he says those people, they are not going to succeed. They will see how ZANU-PF is strong, and so on and so forth. And just after that warning, then boom, we see this thing happening in South Africa, which is quite very unfortunate. So we are very interested in following up what is going to be happening, especially in the courts, considering that Job Sikhala is being tried in a foreign country, and also with the foreign judiciary. We've talked yesterday about some other developments that are coming out, allegations that Mnangagwa is trying to engage Ramaphosa to make sure that Sikhala Anonyura, and of course the monies that are said to have been pledged by Shgananda, up to 10 million rands, for the purposes of bribing magistrates or judges in South Africa. Well, we keep saying that we just hope and pray that the South African judiciary will be as transparent and will be as fair as possible, and would really be objective into looking into this issue of Job Sikhala. The history of this man has been arrested more than 68 times in Zimbabwe, but not even once has he been convicted of any crime. Yet all those arrests, when you look at them, they were politically motivated. And now ZANU-PF is tired of arresting Job Sikhala, because recently he was released after almost 2 years arrested of no crime committed, and then he was just acquitted without any charge. And then they can't now arrest him again, so they've decided to make it happen in another country and cause another foreign country to arrest the man, which is a thing that we continue to condemn as the people of Zimbabwe, and we want to be definitely supporting, the will of the people. The will of the people is what Job Sikhala continues to stand for. But let us just listen to what quite a number of people have said over the issue of Job Sikhala. Quite overwhelming support that he has received. Right, so let's just take a listen.
MP and opposition leader Sikhala appeared in a Pretoria court today after being arrested and charged with possession of explosives. DW's Suso Kumalo reports on the unfolding case and its broader implications.
In court, Sikhala stood alongside his uncle who was with him in the vehicle at the time of the arrest. Prosecutors claim that police discovered a small cache of explosives during a routine search of Sikhala's car, and that he failed to provide a credible explanation for their presence. Sikhala, however, denies any knowledge of the explosives and insists they were planted by Zimbabwean intelligence operatives as part of a politically motivated setup. The case has been adjourned until Thursday to allow investigators time to verify the authenticity of Sikhala's passport. This delay sparked frustration among Sikhala and a group of Zimbabwean supporters who attended the hearing.
We believe strongly that he did not commit the alleged crime that they say he has committed, because the person of his stature and caliber, and the fact that today he is the only voice of reason in Zimbabwe, he cannot be found to have committed such an odious crime.
Obviously, there is a foul play. As you know, the man is a high-profile political activist back in Zimbabwe.
Why should we forget that not so long ago, his homestead was bombed in Zimbabwe? Not so long ago, the offices that comrades were going to use there to hold a press conference to express their view on the 2030 agenda of Mnangagwa also got attacked.
Right. Can you hear that? There's quite a lot of support towards Job Sikhala.
ZANU-PF government standing as a leading critic of President Emmerson Mnangagwa. He's at the forefront of the movement opposing attempts by the ruling ZANU-PF party to extend Mnangagwa's presidency to 2030, a move many describe as unconstitutional. Sikhala was arrested in South Africa on Thursday night after explosives were found in the vehicle he was traveling in. Now, the National Democratic Working Group, which he leads, says the arrest is a setup.
So, what happened when he wanted to hold a birthday on the 30th of October this year? His home was besieged by the riot police squad and prevented him from holding a mere birthday celebration. Now, a day ago, they bombed the Service Trust, the venue of what was supposed to be the national press conference by citizens who really wanted to talk about the disguised, agenda of President, the current President Mnangagwa's life presidency.
A political analyst says South African police must steer clear of Zimbabwe's dirty political games.
The South African police have more important things to do rather than follow these delusional political agendas. I've known Job Sikhala for more than 20 years, and he's not a man who is capable of hurting the fly. In fact, the Sikhala that I know has no capacity to organize anything to do with espionage.
In 2022, he was jailed for nearly 2 years after organizing a funeral for a slain party member. Sikhala is expected to appear in South African court on Monday.
Right. So this was before yesterday, but generally, it's just showing how much support Job Sikhala is receiving from Zimbabwean people all over the South African nation, as well as all over the world. So we keep praying for him. We keep believing God for him. We know that our God is faithful, and whatever God will not allow will never happen on Sikhala. We are with him in our prayers as intercessors. Let's keep doing that and watching how events are going to unfold. We'll keep you updated as always as to what is going to be happening in the nation of South Africa. Remain blessed until we meet in the upcoming show. Shalom.